My wife is upset about my weight loss. She wants me back to my old self.
Time to get to work.
Wait, what?
I got married to my wife 6 years ago when she got pregnant. Ideally, we would have dated for longer than 9 months, but it is what it is. And we had our son soon after. By the way, this comes from Transformer Dad, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKstorytime subreddit. So, within the few years of our marriage, life was good. I got to learn a lot about my wife, and we got along really well, more than when we were dating. Then my dad passed of a heart attack when I was 35. Wow.
Oof.
My dad had just turned 59. This was a reality check, and I remember I cared so much because I had my son. And if I wanted my son to have me around when I was 35, I was at least going to have to live to 71 without keeling over from a similar health issue. I went and did a physical and blood work, found that I had high cholesterol and high blood pressure. I told the doctor my workout plan and diet and set on my way. Following some of the workout and diet Reddits was helpful. Within a year, I was down to my normal weight. And within 2 years, I had a six-pack, something I never had when I was younger. From that point, my doctor told me my health had exponentially improved, but I was thirsty for more.
All right.
I wanted to look even more aesthetically pleasing, so I got a picture of the 300 cover photo and set about building my body for that Halloween. In that time, I think my wife and I must have grown apart. My wife used to always be fit when we dated, but after having our son, she must have been too busy to exercise. I invited her with me to work out. I saved up money and built a separate 2-car garage behind the house to build a home gym, but she would say she was tired or happy the way she was. I would go for jogs with my son in the stroller, and whenever she joined us, she would insist we walk. I asked her to try jogging, and she would snap back, asking if I didn't find her attractive. That's tough. I think she's feeling, I think she's probably, like, really quick, I think she's probably feeling a lot of, like,
insecurities.
And I think OP's not even doing this from like a mindset of like, oh, you don't look good to me, like I'm putting all this work, you should put it too. I think it's just when you are a very active person, you enjoy it. Anyway, of course I love my wife. I love her as the mother of my child. I love her as the daughter-in-law she is when helping my mother. And most of all, I love her as my wife and how she is forever my companion. This became even more apparent with time. While I would be cooking chicken breasts and broccoli for the week, she would say that I should start eating lasagna and fried chicken that I used to eat before. I told her that I didn't want to go back.
Yeah, wait, that stuff was me, man.
I just don't understand her thought process. When you hear, presumably he's told her that he was literally like on the route to pass very early on in his life, maybe get a heart attack.
Yeah.
And then she's like, I actually don't care. My insecurities are more important than your life.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And plus social media. Oh, dude, social media makes you think things of yourself, and it's so harmful to people.
I told her that I didn't want to go back to being overweight and obese. My BMI used to be 32, and the doctor said that was classified as obese. Now my BMI was 25, borderline overweight, but I am at 10% body fat, so I was careful with my food, and she got upset. She asked if I thought she was fat, and I calmly told my wife to go ask the doctor because I thought she looked good, but I was biased. After her appointment the next week, she came back home crying. She said her doctor said she was overweight and should consider a diet plan and working out. I thought I would see changes in my wife's behavior, but nothing happened. Now summer has come around, and my son is a bubbling ball of excitement and always wants to go to the pool. I take him to the community pool to play with other kids that live in our neighborhood, and my wife joins us sometimes. Last weekend, the neighborhood had a pool party, and everyone and their kids were there. My wife came, and my son and I were having fun, playing in the water and socializing with the people who came there. When we got home, after my son took a nap, my wife walked me into our bedroom and started questioning me. She asked me if I was sleeping with X woman who was there, Y woman who was talking to me, or Z woman whose kid I was helping dry off and talking to. I said I didn't know what she was talking about, and then she pulled out her phone to show me pictures she had taken from her seat. They were pictures of me smiling and talking to these women.
Oh, cheating. Cheating.
I sat my wife down and told her I would never cheat. I have a son that she provided me and a wife that I loved and cared so much about. She wouldn't accept that answer though. She said that I must be attracted to those women because they can look good wearing bikinis while she's heavier than them. Her words, not mine. Then she changed the focus to me. She said I was getting all this attention because I was now fit compared to before, and it would cause me to waver in my fidelity now that other women were attracted to me. My wife told me that she wants me back to my old self when she didn't have to worry about other women and would be comfortable together. She said she feels this undue pressure to become fit herself and feels like it's too stressful to maintain that lifestyle. Can someone please tell me what to do? I'm not going to lie to my wife, but if I'm being honest, I think she would be much more attractive if she tried to get back into shape, even just trying. Don't tell her that.
Yeah, keep that to yourself.
Don't tell her that, buddy. I hope you haven't told her that before, but don't tell her that.
Yeah, keep that one to yourself.
I don't know how I can tell her this without hurting her feelings. Don't. Or making her feel more insecure. Can someone tell me how to approach this? There is an update, but I got some thoughts. Stop. Pause. But Riley, do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, I'm thinking about the equal yoke thing because I feel like couples are better whenever they're on the same page about things. Clearly, you and your wife are not. And I think it would make life so much easier if both of you were very fit or if both of you weren't very fit. It's either, it's just like a rubber band and you guys are doing this right now. And to release the tension of the rubber band, someone needs to either give in or follow the other one. So someone's going to need to give in.
And you can't follow her because you might die.
You might die. And you understand the, limitations of that. Couples counseling. Mm-hmm. Opening her up to something else. I don't know. I feel like your wife needs to move kind of closer towards you. And it doesn't mean like your wife needs to start working out 5 times a week and eat this and da-da-da-da-da. It's like, being okay with going on a walk. You guys don't have to jog, but being okay with the walk. The wife sees this as a big undertaking. Yeah. Because you went through like a big change in your life. Yeah. And it sounds like you guys got to go back to square one, figure out what's a good step to ease the tension on that. Yeah. I think you just tell her, therapy. Let's approach this from a health standpoint. Yeah. But it does seem like there's some ego happening on both sides here. Mm-hmm. Some pride on both sides. I think so. But there is an update, so let's get into it. Thank you everyone for your posts and advice. I really appreciate it. I made a few realizations about myself and my relationship to my wife. I wasn't easing my wife into getting into a healthy lifestyle and had completely forgotten that when I started out, I took it very slow, which is, kind of what we were saying. Like, don't just drop her into stuff that she doesn't like doing. Mm-hmm. Find something that she likes. It took me 4 years to get to where I am now, and my wife was trying to keep up with my current lifestyle, which can definitely be overwhelming. I was trying to look for the perfect opportunity to talk about this with my wife, and to ease the mood a little, I went and bought her favorite bottle of wine and a bouquet. I went to talk to her in our bedroom after our son had gone to sleep, and she had these old photo albums. Apparently, she had stopped by her parents' place after work to help them with some summer cleaning, and she wanted to keep the photo album to go through the memories. I gave her the flowers and opened the wine, and we looked through the pictures while we were cuddling. We were leafing through the pictures, and then I saw one of a strikingly handsome man in a football uniform holding a girl that looked exactly like my wife when she was 24, kissing him. My wife was so interested in the picture, and she started tearing up a bit. I asked her what was wrong, and she pulled out her phone and showed me a picture of her parents now. They're in their 60s and still in love, but they have lost their shape that they had in their youth. Her dad had a really large adult soda gut, and her mom was overweight, but they were happy. She was saying that when we got married, she was hoping we would be like them. They never worried about losing faith in one another because their attractiveness faded as they grew older, but their love for one another continued to grow. She talked about her old boyfriend who became so popular in college and girls threw themselves at him that he ended up straying. She was worried the same would happen to me because women in their neighborhood started to talk and say they wish their husbands worked on their bodies like I did. She was starting to feel really insecure. Okay. Well, girl, let me tell you something. Tell her. You won the jackpot here. You got the jackpot. You got the hot guy. You got the hot man in the neighborhood. You got the hot guy in the neighborhood. All the ladies want him, but they can't have him. Everybody wants a little bite, but guess who's nibbling all day long? That's you. That's you, girly. Then I took that opportunity. I gave her a kiss and then told her that she loved me when I was fat and women like them never noticed me. She still loves me, but those women just lust. Sure, my eyes might dart. It is physically natural. You didn't tell her that, did you? Dude, he's just telling us. Stop. I hope that was just an inner monologue. Yeah. But I loved her so much, valued our relationship so much, and only needed her in my bed. I couldn't even imagine laying with another woman besides her. She started crying tears of joy, and I didn't stop there. I pushed onwards. I grabbed the picture of her parents from college, the picture she had of her parents now, and a picture of when we started dating on my phone. I told her what her parents did. Lose track of their health, but still grow old and love each other is one way to live life. They got the chance to see their grandkids, but I know the health problems her parents have. Then I brought up my dad and how he wasn't able to spend much time with his grandson, and how I want to have the opportunity to see my future grandkids and maybe even great grandkids. I said I wanted her to be by my side. I took a picture of us now and
at the picture of her parents and said, why can't this be us when we're in our 40s, 50s, 60s, till we pass? I told her I loved her, but because I loved her so much, I wanted her to become healthy. She doesn't need to get her pre-baby weight or anything drastic. I told her my story of how I just wanted to get fit, but then that developed into a desire to look good too. She admitted that she also wanted to get back her health, and at the same time, she was hoping to stick to her New Year's resolution to lose 20 pounds.
All right.
We talked, set up a plan, so she's cutting the snacks down to 2 cookies a day and logging everything she eats and portion control. That was when she brought up her monthly appointment with her psychiatrist. Apparently, she's been going to talk about how she could get over her overeating habits. I felt so bad. I had neglected my wife when I was trying to become healthy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, when I could have included her in my journey, and it would have been so much easier to do together. I'm glad that he's realizing like what, the part that he's played in this as well.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. We set up an exercise schedule every day, and she was joking about how we should have spicy sleep every day to make sure we get our cardio in. See, she's getting her confidence back. I appreciate that. I took the in, and we had spicy sleep the rest of the night.
All right.
I haven't been as intimate with my wife like I was last night since our honeymoon. I hope to keep the momentum going tonight since we both took vacation for the long weekend. I mean, being more active does give you stamina.
That is true. It does.
I took the advice of being more intimate with my wife, even outside the bedroom, and was kissing her and playing around with her while we were making breakfast today. When I heard a voice shout from upstairs, "Daddy, you said we're not supposed to touch girls like that." Ended up having when a man and a woman are married and love each other so much, it's okay to do that because that's what leads to a baby. Conversation today. I could still see the shock in his eyes, but it had to happen so I can feel more comfortable kissing my wife and squeezing her butt in front of my son. Maybe you don't have to squeeze her butt in front of your son. Maybe we hold off on that one. The kissing's fine.
Nah.
I don't know if we need to do that.
Nah.
I'm so glad my wife does not have depression and that we were able to work together to put a plan to get back her health. She was showing me pictures of power couples saying in a year or 2, she wants to take a picture like that together. So I'm so glad she has that goal in mind. By the way, your goal should be to listen to full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up Storytime.
Dude.
But there is a little bit left to this story.
I'm so happy because I know she's going to be seeing so many results soon by just doing little different things in her day to day.
But also just like the change in their relationship already. And talking about this, bringing this in the open and having this kind of excitement about, this journey that she's going to go on and stuff about feeling good together as a couple, feeling good as a family, feeling good individually is really exciting. I think they're on a great track.
Yeah. I love this.
Yeah. I also feel ashamed. When I was starting, it was to become healthy, but I like the physical changes I saw in my body. And for my model, I picked Leonidas from 300. What? But my wife, who was restarted on her fitness journey, printed out this picture of a husband and wife who are both fit. It just goes to show who loves who more. And I definitely need to work on that. Anyways, thank you so much for the support, Reddit. I really appreciate the help and look forward to helping my wife with her journey so that together we can live a long and wonderful life seeing our son grow older and his future kids. And that's a really great kind of reason to go on the health journey.
Exactly.
I think it is really important to understand why you're going on a health journey. Because if it's just to be like super, like to be like a celebrity type body or like have that like thinness and stuff, it probably is not going to last. It's not going to have longevity. You're not going to have the motivation to keep it going.
But having this intention of I want to be able to
feel
be
better.
with feel better and see my grandkids.
Yeah, like I want to be able to play with my kids, and that has nothing to do with weight or like thinness. That just has to do with activity. Yeah, it's like, do I have mobility? That's why a lot of older people who are still very healthy and stuff have focused a lot on like their mobility and their making sure that they're flexible and stuff as they age.
My husband is in love with his best friend, so I befriended her.
A plot!
And it thickens. This happened a while back. All ages are at the time it happened. My female 27, husband male 30 of 5 years, Steve, had a female best friend long before we met. We'll call her Amy. By the way, this comes from user Clown Chowder Pies. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So I met Amy Amy pretty early on in the relationship, and I thought the girl best friend thing was kind of weird, but she seemed cool. I wasn't interested in a friendship between her and me, but I figured we could be civil. Steve had other friends, but more text every now and then friends. Amy was the only one he saw in person often. She even included me on activities occasionally, like movie nights at her house or trips to the park, etc. I felt more secure because of how kind she was. The security washed down the drain every time it sprung up, though. Steve always looked at Amy in a way he never looked at me.
Ooh.
With a yearn, a longing.
Yearning? Why aren't they together then? If you love her so much, why don't you marry her?
He seemed so genuinely happy when she talked. More animated and excited. He also tried to get me to cut my hair to be more like hers at one point and dye it to her natural color. Amy had shoulder-length brown hair, beautiful on her, but not the look for me. I had longish hair that I frequently dyed fun colors. He also would drop plans with me at the drop of a hat if the opportunity to spend time with Amy came up. Not every time, but one that stands out from memory is we were about to take a trip to visit my family, a full day trip if we don't stop anywhere on the way. And before we left, he'd texted Amy to see what she was doing that day. She said nothing, and he insisted we stop by to see her before we go. Amy did not know our plans. We ended up spending the whole day there. I rescheduled my family visit. That's actually crazy. If I had been more vocal at the time, maybe it would have been different, but I didn't and still don't. Like arguing in front of people and bringing it up in front of Amy felt mortifying at the time. I chalked it up to me being too self-conscious and over-worrying. Steve wasn't outright cruel to me or anything, but the little things and comments tore me down. This went on for our whole marriage. One night, Steve and I were drinking at home and watching bad Christmas movies.
Love.
The Ginger Dead Man and such. I got in my feelings out of nowhere, as I often do when I've been drinking, and asked him if he ever had feelings for Amy, and he admitted to it.
Ooh.
Said he'd tried to get her to be with him multiple times since middle school, and she always rejected him. I asked him if she wanted to be together, if he would want to be with her instead of me. He said something along the lines of, stop making up hypothetical questions like that. That'll just hurt your feelings. Buddy, hypothetical questions like that are like, would you love me if I was a worm?
Yeah, that's a hypothetical. This is just this is just true.
This is real life.
This is the real world. A new real world like that girl.
I cried. We fought. I told him to leave. He called Amy and asked her to pick him up.
No.
When she got there, I, having succumbed to the drink like a skink, went outside in a not friendly way and accused her of ruining my marriage knowingly. There was a 3-way heated argument that I'm fuzzy on the details of because A, I had been drinking, and B, even sober when I'm heated in an argument, I tend to erase things, and C, this didn't exactly happen yesterday. At the end of it, Amy ended up taking Steve to his mom's house. She came back to me sitting in the yard crying. This is already too long, so I'll skip ahead a bit. Amy knew vaguely that Steve had feelings for her, but thought it was a weird crush that would go away. She liked me, but thought I was cold, so didn't try to force a friendship. She didn't know a lot of the stuff Steve had said to me as far as comparing me to her, and was pissed about it when she learned. She let him know that she wasn't and never would be interested in him romantically. He said he understood. Steve and I did a temporary separation that led to divorce. Amy and I became friends. She was and is a great friend to me.
Oh, whoa. Wait, what? Sorry, they just got divorced? Did Opie just get divorced from her husband?
They did a separation.
And that led to a divorce?
That led to a divorce.
That was like a sentence long. I thought this was going to be a way bigger thing.
Well, we knew, we knew it was coming.
I didn't know it would happen that fast. I thought that would be the climax of the story, but that was just like an offhand remark.
I think the climax is going to be that she becomes best friends with Amy. My friendship with Amy is almost worth everything Steve put me through. She's the sister I never had. She is still friends with Steve, but in the text every now and then way. I'm more self-confident now. No real long-term relationships since the big doofus, but now I'm invited to every movie night and trivia game and camping trip with Amy, so I'm not at all bothered by the lack of a romantic partner.
Wait, what? What'd that say?
What? Did we just learn what friends are? I mean, it's never a great thing to put all your eggs in one basket. I get being committed to a relationship, but like you should, have more than just your partner in your life in terms of a connection with someone.
Yeah.
Or being able to go do activities.
Be a bee.
You got to find people to be bees with.
Yeah.
To do. Sorry, this was so long. A little rushed at the end because I realized I was getting book length. I guess that's why the divorce was one sentence.
Short book.
Thanks for reading this. If you did, if you're married to a Steve, there are better things out there for you, darling.
Darling.
Darling. And there's an edit. This blew up way more than I thought an old story would. Before the main update, I would like to say thank you to all the supportive comments. I'm so sorry that the world has made you so cynical to the people who commented and messaged me, accusing me of my story being fake. Seriously, even if it was, why take the time to comment or message? And also, I am sorry to anyone with a Steve in their lives and proud of the others who got rid of them. Now, on to the main update.
Ooh,
Okay.
Main update.
Steve has found this post.
Good.
Good for Steve. Amy sent me screenshots. Not sure how to post them. I will be trying to figure that out. Someone made a TikTok video and he saw it. Not super eventful, but something new on the old story. I considered deleting it to avoid drama, but I decided instead to include everyone on the news if they'd like it. I may still delete it if it becomes too much. I just don't want to give him the power over me deleting it. I'm a little frazzled, honestly.
Frazzled.
And we have some comments.
Ooh.
Comment 1. It's already crappy when you marry someone while you're in love with someone else, but to keep that person in your life and prioritize them over your spouse is heinous. Completely unacceptable. Comment 2, this was uplifting, surprisingly. So you don't feel bad for Steve then?
Oh.
I kind of feel sorry for him, but not in a way that thinks you should regret anything because it all happened very naturally. I just feel you can't help how you feel, but he was bad at hiding it if he even tried. Hey, you can help not marrying a woman if you feel you're in love with someone
your
else.
best friend, or maybe like, I don't know, create some distance with your friend.
OP replies, to put it the best way I can, the reason I don't feel bad for Steve is because I realize he did this to himself.
Oh.
I loved him. He didn't love me. I left, and I'm happier now. I worked on myself and didn't stay miserable. He loved Amy. Amy didn't love him. He clung around and made not only himself miserable, but also me for a while. And in reply, did he say he didn't love you? Or did you just interpret his, according to your story, actual answer of, I've always had feelings for her and I'd want to be with her if we weren't together, as him not giving a crap about you? I think a lot of people fool themselves into thinking they are the only one for their partner and then make rash decisions when they find out that they've fallen in love before. Everyone settles, and statistically, it's highly improbable you'd be someone's first and only choice.
What?
This is a lonely, alone individual has written this.
That commenter deserves, let's give him another 100 downvotes, because I'm sorry, what? You should not go into a marriage, a committed relationship with the mindset that, oh, I don't know, you're good enough. You should not be settling for your partner. You should be finding someone that you actually excites you.
Well,
and that you want to have that you can see yourself in a relationship with for a long period of time if you're marrying them.
Well, oh God, there's more comment here. Okay. This same dumb comment says, but congratulations on letting jealousy of a friendship that has existed for longer than your entire knowledge of this guy's existence F up a marriage that, judging by your lack of complaints of the contrary, seemed perfectly fine.
Man did not read the very short story.
Yeah.
It wasn't that long.
The guy just read the part where they got divorced and then wiped his entire memory.
They got divorced. He read the opening paragraph and then he skipped to, he's like, oh, this is too long. He skipped to we got divorced. And he was like, what? You got divorced because he has a friend?
Oh, and Amy is a crap friend. I'm laughing at the y'all should be together comments because you kind of do deserve each other. OP replies.
Yeah.
I understand what you mean.
No.
And maybe I wasn't super clear. And maybe if I was, you would still have the same opinion. I'm not upset that he had feelings for Amy. Someone else commented, and I agree, you can't control who you have feelings for, but I feel the way everything went down, marrying me without ever telling me he had feelings, constantly putting me, his wife, on the back burner for Amy, making me feel like a second place trophy even before I knew about his feelings for her, trying to get me to change my looks to be more like her, etc., was not how I deserved to be treated, and was horrific looking back. If it was me today, I would never let any of that happen, let alone how long I let it happen. And if Amy had chosen to remain as close to him, I don't know if we would be as close. I want to say yes because of how we are right now, but right in the middle of everything, I probably would have just called it a wash and not talked to her. If tomorrow she decides she wants to be close with him again, I wouldn't try to stop her. I wouldn't be around him. Even if that makes me seem like a bitter child, it would have to be separate visits at separate times, but I wouldn't want to lose her over it. A very emotionally astute response from OP. Comment number 3. I like this, but kind of not sure why Amy was still in touch with him after the whole deal. And even during your marriage seemed a little odd, but hey, if it worked out, I'm glad. OP says they've been friends for a long time. I guess it's hard to cut off friendships like that without feeling anything. Mostly, I think she was disappointed in the way everything went down. And I would be disappointed if you didn't listen to full episodes with stories just like this on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and iHeartRadio and wherever you listen to podcasts. All you have to do is search OK Storytime and you will be literally flabbergasted at the amount of content you can listen to. Well. That's the end of that story.
Don't marry people unless you're like in love with them. I suddenly had a family. It all happened so fast.
And now they're burying you.
And folks, this is from the r/OK Storytime subreddit, directly from one of you guys. I, a 31-year-old male, married my wife, a 31-year-old female, 2 months ago. But how it happened was not exactly planned because she had a cryptic pregnancy.
What is that?
I'll tell you in a minute. By the way, this comes from Whole Call 7910. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So real quick, from my knowledge, a cryptic pregnancy is when you don't know you're pregnant. And then you either find out like right before or when you're giving birth.
Oh.
Which is a scary thought that you cannot know that you're pregnant.
That's one of the most horrifying things I've ever heard in my life.
My wife did not know she was pregnant until less than 2 weeks before he was born. That's insane. It wasn't until 2 days before he was born that we found out that she was 38 weeks pregnant. Oh my God.
Is that, how many weeks are you supposed to be?
Around 38.
How?
What? That's crazy.
What? How?
So my fiance at the time and I had been together 8 years and planned to get married 1 year in the future. We are both dedicated professionals and live together. We've talked about having children and decided that it wasn't a good time for us, that we might try one day, but nowhere in the near future. One day I was driving to work, my thoughts drifting aimlessly, and I received a phone call from my wife. I was expecting the usual conversation. Instead, she was nervous and informed me of those 2 life-altering words. I'm pregnant. I was shocked. We use protection. We're very careful. She's also on birth control, and we've never had a close call in the past. We kind of thought having a child would be difficult for her. Apparently, incredibly easy. Little did I know I would be at a labor and delivery room in less than 2 weeks. My wife got an appointment with her doctor. They performed a blood test and found that she was 4 to 8 weeks pregnant. That sounds like it was wrong. When I came home, we found time for an honest discussion about our unplanned journey into parenthood. We acknowledged that the timing wasn't ideal given our recent home purchases and impending nuptials. Yet we realized that with love and determination, we could adapt and make it work. At least we had time to adjust to this unexpected twist in our lives. Little did we know what was about to unfold. 1 week later, on Wednesday, I took a half day off work to join my wife for her first ultrasound appointment. We were expecting to find out the due date. We found out that she was in her 3rd trimester and 38 weeks pregnant, with a due date of 10 days in the future.
Surprise!
You guys don't even have time to worry. You're parents. You're gonna be parents right away.
So wait, what happens a whole time? So what if she'd been drinking and stuff?
Well, that's the danger. That is the danger.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
No.
My wife burst into tears. I did my best to hold my composure and reassure her that everything was going to be all right. Like it wasn't the biggest event in our lives we were completely unprepared for. We decided to fast forward our nuptials. Around 10 o'clock that night, we visited a courthouse and legally bound ourselves in matrimony, signing our names on the official documents. I turned to my wife, reminding her that when I proposed, my intentions were sincere. I knew without a doubt that I wanted to spend my life with her, and that's what truly mattered to me. That night, I had to travel for work. I was up all night and not in the way I expected I would be on my wedding night. Rough. At work, I informed my boss of my situation and that I could have to unexpectedly leave at any time because my fiance, who was now my wife, could go into labor at any moment. That was a difficult conversation. That night, I came home from work. I have a 2-hour commute and work 10 hours 4 days a week. My wife was exhausted. She had to do 9 months worth of doctor's appointments in 1 day. That is tough. We both fell asleep quickly. About 3 hours later, she woke me up and said her water broke. She was having contractions and had to go to the hospital.
9 hours later.
9 hours later.
9 hours after your 9 months worth of appointments in 1 day. You're like, hey, it's time.
It's time now.
Hope you had a full night's sleep.
We timed the contractions and found that they were only 5 minutes apart and rushed to the hospital. We didn't even have a go bag or car seat. Nothing. My wife's labor was only 3 hours and she did not get an epidural because it happened so fast. Girl, speed run that. She speed ran that. What?
Man, by the time they get home, the baby's going to have like a college diploma.
Yeah. I remember thinking, wow, I can't believe this is happening so fast, but that seemed to be the trend. Before I knew it, I held my son for the first time and it didn't even hit me. I was still in shock and disbelief, but I was happy and immensely proud of my wife.
Yeah, as you should be. She
Yeah.
just speed ran giving birth.
That's crazy. We stayed in the hospital for 3 days and found that my son was healthy. I was so nervous something would be wrong because my wife had no prenatal care. For those 3 days, I took care of my son while my wife was still recovering. I did not rest. I was either preparing our house for his arrival or taking care of my son. I literally had nothing ready. I know fathers often say that they are not ready, but I literally wasn't. Somehow I managed to get the essentials with help from friends. It was time to go home, and that scared me the most. The hospital was just going to let us go with this surprise baby and wished me good luck. The drive home was overwhelming. All of a sudden, I had a family of my own. I'd never driven so slow in my life. For the next 3 days, I let my wife sleep. I did not sleep for 5 days straight. Dude, what?
Welcome to baby.
I took care of my son at night and worked on essential tasks all day. There was just too much to do. It got to the point where I could not function anymore. Yeah, I mean, you're past the delirious state. I've never been so tired and delirious in my life. Yeah, you're in like hallucinating state. What's the longest? Is it like 10 days or something?
I don't know. There's some creepy pasta about the Russian sleep experiment. I personally think you could just never sleep. That's wrong. Don't do that.
Well, yeah, you could do that until you pass away.
You can sleep.
And it would be short.
Although it is crazy that scientists don't know exactly why we need sleep, but they just know we do.
Our brains are just so active. Finally, my wife was feeling a little bit better and let me get rest for 1 night. I did not know to save my PTO from work, and I only had 1 week. They didn't even give you freaking... Oh my God, they didn't give you paternity leave?
This sounds like the worst. That's it. I'm going to stop there.
It sounds like the worst. They were literally constant things that were important and needed to get done. Even with my wife's help, there just wasn't enough time. My wife and I were in survival mode. I look back and don't understand how we were able to function. We didn't have much help. My family was away on a cruise and had quite a surprise when they got cell service again, but we managed. I was about to say, where is your family? To be fair, they didn't have any knowledge that you were having a child.
Another nightmare element of this scenario.
Yeah. Now it is 2 months later and things are just starting to settle down. I realize I am starting to process what happened. For the past 2 months, I've just been in survival mode, and now it's hitting me how much happened in 1 week. It's like my mind couldn't process how fast reality was. It feels like I ran a 3-second quarter mile. I did have a slight mental breakdown recently. Fair.
I'm breaking down right now.
Aw.
I'm not really. I'm just my eyes are watery because I think I'm tired. But
Aw. Do you want something to drink?
I never knew I should be afraid of this. Now I'm going to be.
Just, yeah, every couple weeks you just tell your partner, go get a test.
You make sure you're not secretly pregnant?
Make sure not secretly, but we don't know. We never know.
How do we know?
I feel like most people think that time has passed and everything's okay now, but it's lately that it's been hitting me so much harder. How much my life changed. I love my wife and son, but I cannot help looking back and feel like I should have done more and been more prepared. I think every parent feels that way at times. Now I know what everyone's going to ask. How did you not know? That's the number one question I get and my wife gets as well, but there was literally no signs. My wife had no morning sickness, did not show. My wife even claims to have had her normal cycle the whole time. Yeah, that is a case for, there are certain women who will have cryptic pregnancies and still get their period. Just 2 weeks before my son was born, we had no idea he even existed. Is it wrong that now that things worked out, I feel the weight of what happened? No, not at all. That's the thing is, when you go through something so crazy like this, where you literally don't get to rest for a moment, it doesn't hit you until you get that moment of like, oh, okay, I get to breathe now. Whoa, my life is insane. Like, that's okay. You're coming to terms with it, and that's fine.
Yeah, you're not doing anything wrong.
Yeah.
I'm in awe of you.
Yeah, I'm like, OP, give yourself a break. It does not, you don't have to be like overjoyed all the time. You're allowed to take a minute and say, wow, this is really not how I expected my life to go. And also, mourn for the time you lost in preparation. That's okay. But just like, no, you're doing the best you can. Take it one day at a time. Comments. Comment 1. It isn't wrong to feel the overwhelming feeling of everything that happened, but try to enjoy it and get settled in. I have 4 kids now, and I can honestly say you're never ready, even after the first one. You both had a blessing in disguise. Our first baby, it was worrying about everything leading up to the birth. Finances, getting the house ready, trying to get us ready. The very short window may have been exhausting, but in the long run, you save at least 6 months of stress. Even when you have all those months to prepare, it really is close to having all the time. For some reason, there isn't time to get everything done. Kudos to you guys for getting it figured out even faster. The no sleep, no time off, autopilot you have to go into would have happened anyway. I had to work on and off the day our first was born. Wow. I worked right across from the hospital. I had to go back and forth because her labor was so long and my work was not prepared for me to be gone yet. But you should try and enjoy full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up Storytime. That pisses me off when work does not, give proper paternity, maternity, leave.
It should be criminal.
Should be. It is amazing what we can do when we have to. Try to enjoy it. And folks, that is the end of that story.
Wow.